Welcome back to the OTB podcast. This week in the hot seat, we're joined by Kiwi downhill legend Sam Blenkinsop. Sam's had an epic career racing bikes, and you can tell on this podcast that the racing fire is still burning strong for him. This year, he set up his own deal with Crestline Bikes, which has just been announced, and he dives into how and why it's all come about for 2023. Along with that, we get some awesome stories from his years of racing, including an epic saga about a borrowed van with the Masters brothers that you definitely don't want to miss. On to the show.
Nice. Very nice. Front to back. Leader's garment. Quite happy.
It's alright, isn't it? Looks pretty good in that bad boy.
Excellent, I think the word you're looking for is. Look at that thing. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? Beautiful.
Now, only if you're ready for this.
Right, joining us in the hot seat today, we've got an old friend of Red Dog and I's, Sam Blenkinsop. Sam's obviously been around the New Zealand scene and the World Cup scene for a long time now. But yeah, some news just probably dropped when we drop this podcast, hopefully, with a new deal. So we want to touch on that. Bit of what's been going on and general catch up. Welcome to the podcast, Sam.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks, guys, and yeah, thanks for having me.
That's all good. Well, these have been pretty fun, so it's good to get some of the guys from around New Zealand here that maybe don't make it onto some of those podcasts overseas that we don't talk about. Those other ones, but so new ride. Who are you riding for this year?
Yeah, so basically, I've been trying to do my own deal for a few years now. I tried to do it last season because I was I got to the stage in my career where I was like, I still love racing. We all love racing, but I just got to the point where being on a team with everyone was kind of getting a little bit stale, and like listening to kind of the team managers complain about things and everyone on the team complain about things and having to like pretty much deal with everyone else's like kind of garbage and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, I was trying to do my own thing and wanted to get like my own thing going. And then last year didn't really work out because I kind of waited too long, and yeah, like there was quite a few sponsors keen, but then like heaps of people were just like really late to replying, and then I was just like, I was just like, oh, can I ride for the team again with Norco? And they're like, yeah, sweet as. So I was like, I'll just sign a 1 year deal with them, and then try and do everything again like this year for this coming season. So yeah, worked on it a bit more earlier, some sponsors, and then I probably chose the worst year ever to do it because
it's got kind of grim again in the bike industry this year. So yeah, it's
yeah,
gone a little bit that way.
with all everyone like budgets cutting and everyone's scared to spend money. So I didn't really think into that one. But in saying that, like it's all worked out, and like pretty much everyone is real keen and like putting in like money and stuff, and then there's other sponsors that are just like you never hear from, and then it's quite late, and so it's quite a hard thing to do. Like I never really realized. I guess that's why team managers are like some of them are quite useless, and then some of them are onto it, and then the same thing with like sponsors too. Like I guess that's why I'm stoked with all the guys that I'm working with, because like they're real, if they're keen and they just like email me back straight away, or they're keen and they're keen. So that it's kind of like that's what the whole thing I was kind of going towards, like yeah, dealing with team managers and stuff. They kind of deal with everything, and then you never really get to deal with any of your sponsors properly. So
yeah, so you're riding Crestline this season.
Yeah. So
it's how did that come about? Because like that's a pretty kind of obscure brand, pretty niche and small.
Yeah,
Where did that
yes.
kick off from?
Basically, thanks to Bernard Kerr. he was talking to the guys that run everything there, and so he was talking to them, and then they were looking for a rider, and they were like pretty keen to like get into the World Cup scene because that obviously they're only doing like a certain amount of frames, like doing 50 frames, so it's like a
Yeah.
one-off thing for downhill frames kind of thing. So yeah, so they just want to get into that, and then Bernard helped me out with that, and then so I was pretty stoked, and then we just kind of like got everything going like the last couple of days or weeks really, and then it's all happening. So yeah, I'm stoked. And then their big thing is they're pushing like downhill bike and then like e-bikes. So
Yeah.
mostly
Yeah,
they're
it's
going to be e-bike scene.
pretty kind of odd end of the spectrum, really. Like it's the kind of, I mean, everyone's doing an e-bike, but like, yeah, to have those two together, but they look like pretty cool bikes, like almost like a high pivot Santa Cruz.
Yeah, that's what makes me excited. Like I haven't ridden the bike yet because it's still hasn't turned up yet, but just waiting for it to clear customs and everything. So I'm freaking like frothing at the bit to ride this bike, and like I feel like I've ridden some poo bikes in the past and waiting for like just a good bike to turn up on my doorstep. So I think
Yeah,
that's gonna be it for some.
let's not be shy. There was a few rough years of Norco. Yeah, that's
Some
for
of the
sure.
earlier ones, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, and I think I don't want to say anything, but
No, fair enough. But yeah, these look pretty cool, and the e-bikes look pretty good too. So
yeah,
it was just
that's
released like last week.
yeah. So that's the bikes look sick, and the whole thing around it is I'm pretty stoked because like with Crestline components, so I can change the linkages and stuff quite easily, and I feel like that's what I've been struggling with over the years. Like you talk to engineers and stuff, and it takes so long to get anything done. Like I pretty much just call them up or just say what I want to change or anything, and they said it could be like a week or 2 weeks turnaround sort of thing. And then
Yeah,
obviously it takes whatever shipping or whatever, or if I'm over in the US, it's less time or whatever. So I'm pretty
yeah.
stoked
Like
with that. And then
theoretically, you could pretty much have like a new linkage or something between races, just about if you
yeah,
if you needed to, or if you
yeah,
wanted to change it up.
it's just him. He's just got to draw it up and then see what works. And so I'm pretty stoked with that. And then having their input on that side as well. And then it's just something different. And like I've ridden for so many teams for so many years, and it's just kind of cool to do my own thing and getting all the sponsors together. And yeah,
It's
obviously I've got a lot
quite
there.
fun and satisfying, like putting all that stuff together, eh? So that'd be quite
Yeah,
cool, quite a cool change for you.
yeah, yeah. It's like a new thing for sure. It keeps you excited, like and busy, and it's probably even more busy with kids. And then
Everything's
Alicia's,
busier with kids.
and Alicia's trying to help me out, and then do some training, and then I don't help myself out because I'm probably off hunting or fishing or diving more than I should be. But I've got to catch put food on the table as well.
Yeah, fair enough. Got to get it in when you can, eh?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. You only live once.
Um,
Did
yeah, so
you?
it's probably
Sorry,
quite
go
cool
on.
for you, like especially because like I mean Norco is probably a smaller of the big brands, but like this Crestline obviously looks like a pretty small company, so you'll kind of be like their main guy, so it kind of give you some motivation, I guess, to get it out there on the World Cup circuit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Norco's like a massive thing um,
Yeah,
compared to these guys. So it's like, yeah, it's like a good change. It's like almost like me starting. Like they've obviously got something out there already, but just small. So it's like me starting everything for them, really. So it's gonna be cool. So I'm real stoked about it, and then yeah, just see how it goes, and then I'm pretty keen to like grow this thing with some like Kiwi juniors and stuff, and obviously not this year, but like in the next year when after I've done like a year of this or whatever, and see how it works out, and then because obviously I have the motorhome and stuff in Europe, so they can travel with me or whatever, and yeah, just find some fast Kiwi that needs a ride or just needs helping hand to start. Because if I would have never had that, like I wouldn't be probably where I was if I never had that support the first year when I rode for Gravity Group when I was on Turner. So I
Yeah.
pretty much was a 17-year-old kid, never left. Oh, I didn't even know where I was going in Europe. I thought when I was flying to Europe, I thought I was going to a different islands, like all these different islands, but I didn't know Europe was one. Like I thought, like Italy and France, you have to fly to different islands and stuff, and then
You're just
I just had
driving
no.
around everywhere.
Yeah, I was like a kid that at school I was just like rode my bike and that was about it.
I mean,
And
we still had, like we still had the internet, but holy shit,
no,
shit's a lot easier these days with FaceTime and like just being able to use Google Maps and that. Like, man, we didn't have
yeah.
phones, we didn't have smartphones or anything back then either.
So,
I
and
can't even understand how you did it. Like, how did you do it?
the
It's insane.
dial-up internet, it was just a waste of time. So you'll think. I remember talking to my parents the first couple of years overseas, and you'd never hear them. It's just like you're just like,
Yeah, trying
might
to
go see you
Skype.
later. Yeah, and it was too expensive to call, so we didn't even bother. So yeah, so it was a wake up call, and then like obviously having that support, like getting overseas, like I was like a junior, and then yeah, like my team manager at the time, he said he was just like cracking up because I turned up to Europe and I didn't even know it was winter. Like I just had because New Zealand winters are quite mellow in the North Island.
Yeah.
From Australia, I just had shorts and like t-shirt, and then as soon as I got there, it was like snowing and stuff. So I went to go and like buy pants and shit like that. So he was cracking up. So he was like, "Man, what are your parents doing? Where's your clothes, mate?" I was
You're like,
like,
man, I'm just a kid from Wanganui.
yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't get cold there.
nah, just rains and
Yeah,
muddy."
muddy.
Oh shit, that's good. Before we go too far down that track, so what sponsors have you got lined up or they're confirmed for this year?
Yeah, so basically, I pretty much got everything signed except for suspension. I'm waiting for now, and just drive chain. So I'm running IXS for clothing, head to toe, pretty much. Well, not toe, but 510 for the toe
Yep.
part, and
On the
then
toes.
yeah, and then be clipping into HT pedals, and then Diety handlebars, which is pretty much like I've worked with Eric for like God
You've been
knows
on those
for
for
a
a
long
while.
time now, and he's like,
Mm.
it's like a thing that I couldn't really change handlebars or grips. It's like a thing that I just kind of get used to,
Oh,
and it feels
it's
so
your
good.
first point of contact,
Mm.
right? It's like
Yeah.
once you get comfortable with it, you just don't want to change it.
And I just
Makes you
like
nervous
the
thinking about it.
grips feel so good with no gloves, so
Yeah.
it's just I was just like it's easy for me. And then Eric's just like it's funny because like saying that like I've been working with him for so many years, but I've never actually talked to him on the phone until I did all this like contract stuff with him. So it's just like dealing with your mate, but you've never talked to actual. So
That's
it's quite funny.
crazy.
Yeah, because all the other sponsors are always dealing with it. We've done emails and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
we're doing like film projects, but we never actually had like sat down and like talked to each other. And so it was like when we first talked, we were like talking for ages because it was like catching up with your mate that you never actually talked to. So it's quite funny. But yeah. So obviously, Diety handlebars and seat and grips and stuff. And then for brakes, I'm running Hayes, so I'm pretty stoked with that.
Oh, nice.
And then DT Swiss and Maxxis tires and
Oh, good tires. Good you haven't sold out to something budget just for some money.
nah, wow,
Uh,
it's just the guys here in New Zealand, Marlene. They're just awesome. You know what they help me out
Yeah.
with here, and it's just handy, you know, because I'm just down the road from them here in
Yeah.
Christchurch, and just makes that part so much easier because man, if you don't have rubber, you just can't ride. So,
Nah.
oh, it's
and
such a big deal. And if it
yeah,
sucks, it makes your whole bike feel terrible.
Oh, I
yeah, and
mean,
then obviously
there's a
deep,
history of people running shit tires and then ending up on blacked out Maxis. Like it's just
yeah,
happened every season for the last 25 years.
yeah, well, yeah, specialized, yeah, obviously everyone, but now I think everyone's kind of catching up, and
Yeah.
but then like Maxis is so good, they'll just do that anyway, you know, so they'll know like everyone's working hard. So they're always working hard. They always want new compounds or new, like a tread pendant or something. So they're just good because they have everything. Like if you want something, you've got that. So yeah, and then DT Swiss is awesome too because they're at all the World Cups, and it just makes my life easier. Having
Oh,
that support at the World Cups just
that's
for
huge,
and stuff,
especially for
yeah.
wheels. So you're
Oh,
not having to drag around tons of wheels and stuff like that.
yeah, and then obviously I haven't signed for suspension yet, but that will probably be out when this probably comes out, maybe. So everyone will know, but I'm
Yeah,
not 100%.
that's all right.
There's two
We'll
options, but
we'll leave that one as a mystery. It'll probably be out at the same time anyway.
yeah, everyone can think, whatever. But
Speculate.
yeah, and then nothing for drivetrain yet, but maybe something. But
Yeah.
once
Hopefully they'll have something on there, mate.
yeah, we've got to have something. Oh, you don't really need a chain for downhill anymore, so
Nah, you'll be right.
Did you have a few
Yeah.
options for like? Or did you explore a few options for the frame sponsor in particular? Like,
yeah, like obviously because I was been working for Norco for so many years, like there was that option, like as a frame deal, but
yeah,
then like just seeing what happens with like how they just stop the team and you just never know what your future holds when things like that
yeah,
happen. So they
Yeah, that
can
was
change their mind that quick. It's like I don't know.
that was one of the questions I had because it's like they announced that they're stopping the team, and then like 2 months later the team's back with Mark Wallace on it. I was like, yeah,
Yeah. Well, I
kind of
always
weird.
knew they were trying to get Mark because I think their whole thing they want just a Canadian team. It's easy for them, and it's obviously Norco is Canadian, so
Fits.
having like
yeah,
a Kiwi hermit on there probably didn't really suit their style, and they're kind of all their managers. I guess there's one mechanic or two mechanics are European, some of them, but yeah, I
I,
just kind of get that vibe over the years. Like I
I'd
was there.
argue, I'd argue that you've done more for the brand in terms of downhill racing than anyone in history, though. So it's like it's not like you're a bad person to have on there.
Yeah, I guess so. But in saying that, like, yeah, I obviously helped the brand out for that. But yeah, and obviously seeing the bikes grow and helping develop everything, and yeah, I guess all the messages that everyone said, though, it seems like it was their fuck up. But I was kind of going, like, I guess away from it anyway. I just wanted to do
Yeah,
my thing. I was never going to ride for the team again. Like
fair
I always
enough.
had that in my mind. I wasn't going to ride almost last year on the team. I just got to a point like I just got not sick of like team stuff, but I just got sick of like kind of like dealing with everyone else that complains all the time and no one ever does anything.
Yeah,
So
because you've been around for so long too, they probably always come to you to complain about shit, and you're like, yeah, I don't care.
yeah, and then just like listening to other people, and then but it's also good too because then you learn all that what everyone else is doing. Like obviously, because I've been on the best team, like literally, it is still the best team. Like obviously, like specialized, but it was
Yeah,
Lapierre at the
Gravity
time
Group.
with with Loic and Larice at the time. So and having those guys on the team, like you just seeing what the best is, and then I was trying to get Norco to that, but it just was never gonna. They just never listened to you really.
Yeah,
yeah,
It's like trying to. It was like coming from the best and then just starting everything again, but you're not in control.
yeah.
Someone else is. So it's like that's
You're
why I
trying to,
wanted. I'm doing it now, so I'm in control.
yeah, you can set it up how you want to.
Yeah.
Um, so actually, speaking of the Gravity Group or Specialized, I remember a rumor a few years ago, and I don't know how true it was, but there was talk that you were maybe going to go back there when they were on Specialized at one point. Was that something that was like trying to happen, or?
Yeah, it pretty much almost did, like a couple
Yeah,
of
that's
times.
what I thought.
But obviously I was too old.
Yeah, I guess
Specialized,
that's
Specialized as a brand, they want younger up and coming riders, so that's what
yeah.
their whole thing is. So, like
Damn.
I, like the team manager Laurent, just I guess he loves me so much, and I'm pretty much like his son, I guess. And I grew up like with him, and we
Yeah,
grew the team as together, and he just really liked what I was as a person and what I did for the like I guess the team atmosphere and stuff, and kind of I guess
he's
Grow Leweek as well, and like all those guys at the time, and obviously Cam Cole as well. All of us Kiwi having that relaxed kind of side of it, and I think we helped their team start to be like, because when me and Cam were on La Pierre, like we were like, we have to test, we have to do this, we have to do all this, and then like at the start, Laurent was like, nah, it just costs too much money. And then we're like, we weren't getting results. And then we did testing, and then he's seen all that. And then now look what's happened. It's like,
Yeah, you look at what they do now.
oh man. And that's what every team is doing. Like, because they've seen what Specialized were doing at the time. And then obviously us as well, we were on La Pierre, then we were testing and had telemetry and everything like that. And we're working. And yeah, so like everyone's testing now.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not testing like most weekends or like, and whenever you can, then you're not, I guess you can still ride, but you see like Bernard Kerr and that he's not like testing, he's just like a skill, so it's not like 100%, but like if for some riders it's a thing that you just know 100% that you've done everything, so you can just whatever you can do your best. And
I can't even think of who was on that Lapierre team before you guys. Like, definitely you and Cam, like the seasons you guys were on there was sort of the real beginning of that team, like becoming a powerhouse.
It was
They
Danny
started with
Hart,
Blinky.
so that was the whole reason I
Of
went
course,
to Ryan.
yeah.
So Danny Hart and David Vasquez were on the team. So
Yeah.
David Vasquez was leaving.
Yep.
And they wanted a rider because I'd obviously won a World Cup and I was on Yeti before that. And then they wanted me, and it seemed real cool. And obviously it was a bit of a shit show. Like the first year I signed for them, I got the bike and I was doing like the first race on it in Dunedin, and I broke my scaphoid. I had like a burn.
I remember that.
And I was like, oh shit, I've just signed this big contract for lots of money. My first ever like big team, or like starting off to be a big team. And then they're like, oh, you got to come testing in France. And it was in San Remo in Italy. So I flew over because I didn't even know. I thought it was just like a sprain because I was riding my jet ski and stuff, my stand-up jet ski and that heaps. And I was just like, it's nothing. It's all good. But I didn't actually ride my bike. I just did like on the road and stuff. So I was like, it's just a little bit sore. I better ride downhill. So then I fly to Europe. Didn't really tell the team anything. I'll be like, it'll be sweet. I'll be able to test. And I did one run, and I was like, I can't ride. I can't even like, because because the skateboard, it just hurts so much when you put pressure on it.
Yeah, it's so bad. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. And I was just like, nah, there's something broken. And then because Laurent is just like onto it, he's like just rang up the best specialist in France and booked me in the next day for like an MRI. So we just go straight into the MRI, and he's like, yeah, your scaphoid's broken. You need to get it pinned because it's got a black hole in it, and it's gonna probably die if you don't do something. Because it already been like a month or so once I'd done it. So I literally booked in like we just got a private surgeon and just booked in straight away and got it done. And it was like literally I was riding in when the stitches were out. It was like a couple of weeks.
Oh man.
And then after that season, that was like my best ever season. Like getting.
Was that 2010?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a fucking incredible season that year.
Yeah, I pretty much won every qualifying, but then just dog shit in the race most of the time.
Yeah, because I remember like G and Greg battled out for the overall at the end, and you were in third, but you three were
getting where they were, but yeah,
you three were way ahead of everyone else though.
Yeah, I was just the man at qualifying, and then just sucked in the race, but I don't know, I just couldn't figure it out, and it was like flat pedals, I guess, because it would change so much, the track would get rough. It was the year where it was like real good conditions, it would be like shitty as mud, and I just loved it when it was like that, but it just didn't work out with flats like for race runs because it would just blow out way more. So and then after that I was like, I have to clip in, so I started clipping in after that, and then the next few years that was with Cam, and then that's when we figured out we had to do some testing, and we've started growing. And then after testing with Cam, and then took a few years, and then we got results again after that, and there's a few more podiums. And then when Loic turned up, it was just like a battle. So I think
stay ahead of him.
Yeah, it was like me and him, and then pretty much like a position every race. It was crazy. And then we battled for like 4th and 5th for the overall one season. So it was like pretty crazy to be like have this little junior on the team, and then he come into elite, and then he was like your competition, and then we were all it was funny because we never rode together, but we had the same bike, so it was just like literally one position every weekend, and we'd be
Yeah.
like, I'd be like, and it got to a point where because we were real good mates, obviously, and then it got to a point where it was like we kind of hated each other because it was like your little brother was beating you, and he was like real pissed off because I was like his older brother. You know, it's like
Yeah.
you hate each other, but you don't. You
You
know,
just
like
sick.
that
Yeah.
Yeah.
that rivalry
You
because
don't want the other one to beat.
ah,
Yeah. You don't want to be beaten by them.
because I was the top dog in the team, and then obviously Loic was starting to be that top dog after, and I was like,
Yeah.
and then obviously then getting kicked off the team because they were going changing everything, and they wanted, but they just didn't have the budget. They were just because obviously they were trying to keep Loic and Larice, and but it's just the way it goes, you know. I would say I had good results like that year, like last year I was on. I think I was just off the like the podium for the overall, but still in the top 10. And then yeah, obviously then starting with Norco with Todd, so it was kind of like
Yeah.
starting, you know, and then I had to really start again. So
Yeah. It was quite
Yeah.
a
a
long
dramatic
years.
jump.
Yeah, and that was the same thing. I kind of just really stitched myself up. Like never rode the bike. I just thought it was okay, and then got the bike, and it was like just a just like a park bike really. So
Yeah.
start again, like made idlers and just did some home depot stuff to make it work. And
DIY.
yeah, and then we kind of made like a high pivot, like after that with because they were the engineer at the time was the same engineer that has started shit, what's the bike called? I don't even
Forbidden?
know. Yeah, Forbidden.
Yeah.
It's similar. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
yeah.
I
So
remember
he's
that.
taken that design to them, and yeah, so that's like another sick bike high pivot that's gone out, come out of that. Sounds like liquid shit.
um,
Let's just
fuck,
drink a drink of milk.
getting off
Sorry.
topic there.
Yeah.
I got a random question. Obviously, we've gone through. Well, I mean, I had best race ever, but I mean, there's probably got to be Schladming 08.
Um,
Is that your favourite, or I mean, obviously they'd be ranked pretty high up there, winning a World Cup, but
yeah, winning is like awesome, but yeah, I'd have to say that was because it's different feeling because I just I felt like that day nothing could go wrong.
yeah, just on
I
rails.
couldn't
Yeah.
do anything wrong. Like I don't think I've ever had a run like that before, like ever again. Like it's weird. I've had like good runs. Like I felt like I've done like been happy, but there's always something. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the whole day, like the practice, everything. I just like bike was sick. I just feel like because the ruts were so good, I feel like I didn't even need brakes. It was weird.
just just slapping ruts the whole way.
Yeah, and I feel like we're like, we were just eating shit. Like didn't even care. Like me and Justin, we just had pasta or whatever, and just didn't even really care. Just did. I don't even think I did a warm up. I was just like, I think I
Just
like
did
peeled
it.
around, like because we didn't. That was the days like
Yeah,
we just had I think I just had my mechanic up there and I just peeled around on my downhill bike and obviously yeah and just a last man up the hill like being that like no one around. It's quite weird. Like it feels like you're the only rider. So that was like the weird thing after being like I'd been close to that before like in Andorra. Like I qualified alright, but it was like top 10, you know, and then I
yeah.
was on the podium before that. But then
You
yeah,
you might be the only person in history that's won a World Cup with a three-digit number on.
Two
yeah,
five
oh
nine.
yeah, definitely. Because the reason is because team manager forgot to enter us for the race.
Thanks, Damien.
Yeah, D. Yeah, cheers, mate. Yeah, so we all turned up at the race, and we're like, "What? Why we got these old shit numbers? Like, what big numbers?" And D's like, "Oh yeah, sorry guys, I forgot to enter you." And then, but the funny thing is with that race too, like, I was normally riding a large bike, but I'm actually on a medium because
You
I
broke a frame, didn't you?
broke a frame. Yeah, my frame was like broken, and they're like, Eddie's like, oh, we've only got a medium. And I was like, oh, yeah, be good. Just chuck
Yeah,
it on,
fine.
whatever. Who cares? And I was right there. I was like, man, this is so good. Like, literally, you can see on the film, like, I'm like hanging,
You're
when I'm
all
riding,
over
I'm
it.
like hanging over the back wheel.
Oh, that thing is small, man. You can see it
Yeah,
now. Like when you watch
yeah,
any of those old footage.
yeah, like, and I'm like just pedaling everywhere, like nothing's going on, just loving it. Flat pedals, feet aren't even blowing off, just staying on like they're clipped in. And I sit on that. I've got that bike still. It's in the bike shed in Wanganui. So if anyone wants to go see it,
Oh, that's mint.
go check it out. But yeah, so um, yeah, that thing. If I sit on it now, it's tiny. It feels like it's
Oh, it'd
smaller
be
than the
so
hardtail that I
small.
have. But it just I probably ride that bike now, and I'd have so much fun on it because it would just
Yeah.
turn. I feel like that bike turns so good. I don't feel like I've had a bike like turn like that in so long.
No,
The
it's
bike
because all your
is
bikes
rolling.
now are probably like 200 mil longer in the wheelbase, and the wheels are
Mm,
3 inches bigger. And
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. See, and like flat pedals at the time, and just it's just good.
but
Yeah,
those tracks were so like the way those tracks were built and those bikes were so good. It just
yeah,
worked so well.
yeah. It was just like a fun time, really. Like having Aaron Gwynn on the team. He was like, at the time, he was just like that was his first year. We
Yeah.
got out and we were just all hermits. We didn't even care. Like Justin on the team, we just had fun. We just like build tracks, training together. We're just like in Austria, staying at like our mechanic's house, and we just build tracks behind his house, and we just have fun, really. So, and we're training hard. Like obviously, Justin at the time, he was like probably the best teammate to have because he would just push you so hard because he was like an ex-seat like
He was a
athlete,
good
really.
Yeah,
good
he's a weapon.
trainer, eh? So
Yeah.
And he's just like he'd push us all, and then having like Aaron that was just like just crazy skill and just like a newcomer, he was just like a sponge really with all of us. So yeah, we just
yeah,
had
if
so much.
you said you were like didn't know what was going on when you went to Europe, what was it like when you had him over there for the first time? Because I remember, like, I'm pretty sure I've heard him talk about like how lost he was when he was over there.
Oh yeah, are you talking about me when I became
Like
like?
when Gwyn was over there, like that first season with you guys in Europe.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was like, "What do I eat? Where's He couldn't believe it. He didn't know what. He was like, "What do these people do here?" No, it was
Where's
pretty funny.
Chipotle?
Yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah.
and like yeah, because we'd go obviously because we're on the Yeti. Like it was a US team, so we'd go back to Denver all the time, and so I was like realized like, oh man, you got good food there, like the burritos and everything, just down the road, and you get like everything's huge. And then being in Europe is just like pasta and bread, and yeah, like Aaron couldn't get over that. And then he found out that he was actually gluten intolerant, so it was just blowing him out as
Oh
well.
fuck!
So I think he already knew that at the time. So it was even worse for him being in Europe because there was like nothing he could really actually eat because we were just eating pasta and just kind of just garbage, really. Really just European stuff, but it's actually real good food anyway.
Pretty good stuff. So when you first went overseas, you talked about it a little bit before. You were on that was Gravity Group, wasn't it? When you were on the Turner,
Yeah, yeah. So
and how did that come about? How did you end up with those guys?
yeah, so basically, because I was riding for Dog Boy, Matt at Wide
Ah,
Open,
yep,
and I was on Turner bikes, obviously here in New
yep,
Zealand, and Fabian Burrell came to New Zealand and he did a race here in Hawke's Bay. It was like the year that because World
yep,
Champs were coming to New Zealand, so like
yeah, 2006.
a few like top riders like because Fabian Burrell was like World Champ the year before that
Yeah,
because we went to Livigno, and
yeah,
I
we
was
went and
like
raced there when we were juniors.
yeah, and just Jesus hermits, and then um, I remember just we did so many runs that we shouldn't even done, but there was
We were cooked.
that was probably the funnest track I've ever raced.
That is still to this day my favorite track that I've ever
Yeah,
raced overseas.
yeah,
That was so
yeah.
good.
And that was like just like a fun trip. Like New Zealand actually spent money for New Zealand hermits to go
Yeah,
over there, so it was like a cool trip. And then because obviously the World Champs was in New Zealand the year after, so yeah, that was an awesome track. And then yeah, like I was saying before, yeah, Fabian Burrell came to New Zealand. He did a national, and then I think, I was still junior at the time, and me and Win Masters we
And
went.
I think
I don't,
Cam might have moved up as well.
yeah, we went into elite. Only Kate, or you were in Kate. You were elite then, or no?
I
You were
was
still.
me and Win had already moved up because we were a
Yeah,
year
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. So we wanted to join you guys because you guys were cool. So we were like,
Fuck off.
juniors, I was like, oh, I'm not racing juniors. And then we were in the late, and then obviously I bet like Fabian Burrell, the world champion. I was like, it was like the peddliest track you could ever think
Yeah,
of.
it was so
It was
flat at the bottom.
fuck. I don't know how I bet him with like flat pedals and everything. I think
Yeah.
he was like, what the hell? Who's this little shithead?
Yeah.
That kind of helped me get a ride. And then obviously there was I think it was the Oceanes or like in Rotorua, and I did
Yeah.
pretty well there as well with all those top riders. I think Sam Hill and everything came over because it was like a kind of like a test event sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Hey, I'll just step in here and remind
here
you
we go. Here we go.
who was one spot ahead of you at that race.
Was it you? Was it?
Yeah. It was
Oh,
one of my few times that I beat you.
yeah. Right. That's so long ago. I didn't even know.
No, I remember it because it was like Fabian, Cedric, Mick, Sam Hill, and I think then it was me and you were like 5th and 6th or something.
Fuck yeah. Good to see you, boy.
Yeah, had one or two alright ones, but that was yeah, because you were still a junior, so that was like pretty. I remember that Fabian one. That was a big deal.
Yeah. So that kind of helped me out with that, and obviously that wasn't kind of. It was just like a result, but obviously Dogboy helped me out with the whole ride and everything to get overseas because I was riding for Turner, and then that Gravity group with Peter, the manager, he was obviously
Yeah,
on Turner bikes, and that helped that whole because Dogboy was pushing for me to stay on Turners, and yeah, that all started like there, and then obviously that helped me get to Europe because my parents couldn't afford to come over with me and like race and stuff, and I couldn't go by myself because I was too useless. I
yeah,
didn't even have a driver's license at the time, so I was absolutely stuffed. So I had to have like a team, or I wasn't going out of New Zealand. I could probably go to a race if someone older was helping out or something, but yeah. So the team bloody helped me, and that first year was awesome. Like having Philip Polk and Lorenzo Silding.
I was sitting
Italian
on
guy.
there.
Oh, was he on there?
Yeah.
I don't
So
remember
but
that.
he was just kamikaze. So he didn't
Yeah,
like. He was
he was
like, I
wild.
think after the first training camp, didn't even race. He didn't even do a race. I don't think that year.
Oh, that's why I don't remember it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he come
was
back.
wild, eh?
Yeah, he was wild, man. Fuck, I used to do so many runs with that guy, and I'd be like, what the hell? How does he ride like this? And I thought
Did it take you? Did
he
it
was.
take you like a month to work out what nationality he was? Because he was
Oh,
Italian, but then
dude.
he sounded American, and
Yeah, he just spoke so good English, and
Yeah, I thought he was American, eh?
yeah.
yeah,
Nice, you know.
Yeah, so those guys were on the team, and it was awesome having like we pretty much. I got to Europe, and then we left. I think I was in Austria, and I was like, this is shit because I was in Innsbruck, and Innsbruck at the time there was no mountain bike in there.
Huh.
It was only walking tracks and stuff, but it was real sick. Like I had just like a full cross bike, and I just bike up the biggest mountains. Like my team manager, because I was staying at my team manager's house, and he was like, "Where do you go all day?" I'm like, because when I was at home in New Zealand, I just ride all day and every day.
Mm.
yeah.
And I'd have breakfast, and then I'd just disappear, and then I'll be back at dinner time. He'd be like, "Man, do you just ride all day?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Where do you go?" I was like, "I just go up to the top of the mountains and just like ride walking tracks and probably do like 10 laps of walking tracks, and then go to the skate park and just ride all day." And then he was like, "Man, you're crazy." And then yeah, after that, we went to Spain. Oh, we went to Italy, and we just pretty much in France, and we just rode all that south of France, and like San Remo and not San Remo, San Remo, and then tested there. And then at the time there was like San Remo where everyone tests now. It was in the time it was like a real big start of the season race. And so we went to that, and it was like pretty much like a World Cup. So it was like a good starting testing race, and yeah, it was cool to do all that. And then obviously I did well, and that was like my kind of starting season, like getting into juniors and winning that. And then like obviously Brendan Fairclough was there and beating all the. There wasn't many juniors at the time. There was only like a couple of us that were fast. And
Wasn't
then,
like it is these days, eh? There was only 3 or 4.
And at the World Cups, you were racing in elite, so you
Yeah.
didn't even give a shit about the junior thing. It was like you were
Nah.
just all you were worried about was getting in that like top 10s and top 20s, and yeah, I think
Oh,
like my first year I was always in like the top 20 or 30 or whatever. I can't even remember, but I was definitely never shit. So I was always qualifying and like doing pretty well. So I was like pretty surprised. Like, but then and then you like, oh, I got me into Spain, and then because at the time I was racing four cross, so that reminds me as well. So I didn't. My first season actually didn't go too well. So I went. I did. I did my first four cross race in Slovakia in Bratislava. No, in Czech Republic. And it was just so gnarly. I couldn't believe it. I almost died everywhere. And then I was like, man, this is sick. And I actually did it right. I think I was like, got into like the semis or something. Everyone couldn't believe it. It was just like this little kid. And then,
those were the days.
yeah, we went to Vigo after that. And that was the first World Cup. So after doing all the testing and riding and everything, and just felt like a sick ass like trip already. And then we went to Vigo and I did the four cross there. I did 1 day of practice in the downhill, and then you had four cross practice after the downhill.
It was a loose four cross track too.
Oh yeah, and then I just had the sickest day on the downhill bike, and I was like, man, this is sick. And then I get to ride four cross as well. Very bit blown out, but didn't even care. Just loving it, junior. And I just remember first practice run, I was like, there's quite a big double in the trap, so I was like, yeah, this is sick. I just kept riding, and then I was like, first did a practice run and didn't jump it, and the second time I went to sprint in, and I was like sprinting in, and as I was sprinting in the jump, my gears slipped,
Oh,
and I blew my foot off, and like when you're with flat pedals, you just like blow your feet off, and I was like on the front of the pedal, dragging my feet, and I was just like up the lip, over the bars, just like flying
Fuck.
straight to my collarbone, boom, snap collarbone, and
oh,
I remember that now.
In Spain, in Spain, is Vigo. No, but yeah, it's Vigo. Yeah, Spain.
Yeah, Spain.
Yeah, can't remember if Portugal or Spain. Yeah, it's definitely Spain. Long time ago. Yeah, so went to the hospital. Couldn't speak English. No one there knew anything. Luckily, I had the girlfriend on the team at the time was Philip Polk's girlfriend. She could kind of help out and stuff. So she came and helped out. And fuck, man, it was crazy. Like was going, and then it was like 4 weeks after that, and I was like, my parents couldn't really afford for me to fly home. I'd already done all this, like we couldn't. I was just like, I'll just stay and just travelled with the team, went to all the races and watched and stuff. So it was like so hard watching. And I remember after that, we went to Fort William, so it was like a massive drive, and then I was just like walking the track there and just like kept sliding over because the track was so muddy on the side of the track, and just keep falling onto my like back and just freaking hurting my collarbone. I was just like, this sucks. I'm like at a World Cup just watching, and all I want to do is race. And anyway, so I like my first race back was in Brazil, and that was sick. And then Montsanan, and then did pretty well the rest of the season. Then was going to
Yeah, I
win
came to Brazil.
the juniors, and it came down to the final, and then it was like against me and Brendan, and then literally I just threw it away because Brendan, I think he got on the podium. He was like fifth at Schladming, and then I was like just outside the top 10. I think I was 11th. So I like lost the overall, but I only did like a couple of races. So I was kind of gutted to not get a junior overall, but that's that. You just, injuries, you learn from your mistakes. Maybe I shouldn't have done full cross, but
Yeah,
didn't do it again
I think
after.
there's a few people who probably said that maybe they shouldn't have done four cross.
Yeah, they should bring back slalom though. Fuck, that's awesome.
That'd be good. Yeah, that was a pretty wild first season. Why did you race in Dickies all year? Were they even Dickies or were they Ben Davis shorts?
No, they were the cheaper ones. I couldn't afford
yeah.
the
Ben Davis, I think.
No, the ones
Davies.
from like the cheap shop, like
Yeah,
the
they were
fake
like,
shop, eh?
oh, because we didn't have a sponsor at the time. But we did. I think we had like Dianese that
Oh yeah,
the manager gave me. But I had the twat gap, with the knee pad and the
yeah,
short.
too short.
Way too short, and I just felt like a dickhead. So I just rode in the Dickies, and that was just my style. And then
The baby blue.
yeah, and then obviously whoever was working for Troy Lee, he was like, "What are you riding in these bloody No.
It would have been Reading back then, Mike Reading.
Yeah. He helped me out with like Troy Lee then like the next year, so I was pretty stoked to like. Obviously, when you're a kid, Troy Lee was like the best.
Oh shit,
dream.
yeah, still
And I
is,
was
mate,
like,
still is.
yeah. There's a lot of good brands out there now.
Yeah, and then obviously like world champs in Rotorua that year, and you were second behind Cam, but with a crash, so just another like probably bit of insult to the season, really.
Yeah, Cam got lucky. If I didn't crash the second time, hit the tree, I would have had that gold medal. But
Did you have 2 crashes?
yeah, so the first one was over the bars and the larches, and then
Yeah, because there's
I held on
footage
to the bike.
footage of that unearthed.
Yeah, and then the second crash, I've even got proof. When Masters was down in the bottom bushes, down the
Yeah,
trees. It was just, when you're a kid, I just didn't give up. I was like, it's wet.
you
Anything
go
could happen.
harder.
I'm not, and I just went harder, and I just sprinting, and there was like this last off camber bit, and I just went. Wasn't looking. I was looking at the tree, and I just looked at the tree and just smoked the tree. So I came to a stop, and then I was only a second off cam, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
Yeah, so
Fuck.
but Cam was lucky, but there wasn't many of us, in the juniors at that time. So there was like Brendan. He didn't do very well, and there was some French guy that there was always a random Frenchie that was on
Yeah,
the juniors, and yeah, so it was just like it was pretty cool though for New Zealand, obviously to have like two Kiwis, first and second. It didn't really
yeah,
matter if I crashed or not. It was still cool just to be on there. And then I
for
just
sure.
remember it just felt like pretty awesome being in your home country and getting a medal was pretty cool.
Speaking of win masters, what's your best win or Eddie Masters story that you can give us
Right.
from the younger days of Wanganui?
The van one.
There's probably got to be so many tales from debauchery of those guys.
A lot that you wouldn't be able to
There's
tell.
so many like yeah, with me and Eddie, there's like millions. Oh, there's because we grew up racing in Wanganui. There's way more of win, but I'll just pick like a quick one from Eddie. Like me and Eddie, like we did nationals one year, and we're all together. It was like other Wanganui hermits too with us, like Tom Oscom and and we pretty much just picked up Tom Oscom and we're like, oh, we all. The bad thing is like someone gave us a van to borrow, and it was supposed to be for James Barron, but
Was it Brian Tyndall's van?
Yeah, Brian Tyndall's gave us a van, and we're all underage. I didn't even have a license at the time, I don't think, but we were all just driving this van, and then because James Barron was supposed to have he was like, yeah, I'm going to do the whole national series, and then he found a girl, and he's like, oh, I'm only doing one race, but you guys can keep the van, and we're like, oh, sick.
Baron's out.
So there was like me, Eddie, and Tom. And I think we picked up a few other hermits on the way, like needed a ride, and we just had this sick bongo van. And I just remember the one time we were all driving. Actually, I think Eddie was driving at the time, and we were coming down the bottom of.
It was Treble Cone, wasn't it?
Treble Cone
In Wanaka.
Yeah, it was after like practice, and it's either Eddie or Tom that's driving, and we're all in the front seat, and we're just coming down, like there's all these, because at the time that's where all the paragliders land down the bottom of the gravel road there, and we're coming down, we're probably going like way too fast than what we should be, and I think whoever's driving, it's like I think it was Tom or Eddie. It was definitely
I'm pretty sure it was Eddie. I think I got from memory.
Eddie's like, there's no brakes, and we're like, just push the brakes, and we're going really fast. And we're like, because we don't know what to do. We're just all a bit young. And then he's like, there's no brakes. He's like pumping away at the brakes. And he's like, ah. We were like, ah. And we're going real fast. And he's like, because it's a straight and then it goes into like a 90-degree turn.
It's right at the bottom, isn't it? Like right where you come out to the main road.
Yeah.
And we're like, fuck, we're going to die. So he goes, like, probably does the worst thing ever. He turns into the inside of the turn. and it's like a rise, and we go up on 2 wheels, and I don't know how we don't flip the van. Like we're all like screaming, and then somehow we like, and all the people that are paragliding are all running out of because all the paragliders are right next to the grass where we're all about to roll, and they're all just sprinting out of the way. I don't know how we didn't kill anyone, like hit anyone either. And literally,
Oh my god.
the van, we like the van, like we don't flip the van, but then we like stop and then we keep rolling out, and then the brakes start to work, and then we just stop and we just sit there for like a bit. And we're just like nothing. No one says anything. I don't think for any like a little bit. And we're just like, do we just die or anything? Are we all good? We're like, we're alive. But and then we realised that we had no brake pads in the van. So we've been on the middle for a while, and we pretty much chewed out the discs and everything. And then we got to, because we just kept driving for like a while, and we didn't realise. And then we got to Queenstown, we brought new brake pads and stuff, and yeah, we sorted that out. But then we went to Dunedin, and then Eddie is pretty blind at driving, so he drove into town, and then he didn't realise that there was quite a big curb into town, so he hit the hit the curb like quite pinned, like 50 k's an hour, and like bent the steering arm in the van, and we didn't realise. So Eddie's like, yeah, I think I've ruined the van, but it still drives alright. And then literally we're driving out of Dunedin after that race. We done nationals and stuff, and we're driving like down that steep hill. I think Win was drive. This is when we picked up Win. He'd come for like the next part of the journey because he was coming to Christchurch, I think. And then we're driving out of Dunedin. There's that steep hill when you're coming down, and I'm in the passenger seat, and just like the loudest, the tire just rips off the canvas of the car. I'm just like, what's happening? Like, because it's just like, feels like the van's gonna like blow up, but it's just the tires just ripping and hitting the door of the van, and just like because you're sitting right by the tire essentially, so it's just like smacking everything, and we're like, wow, because none of us knew what was going on, and because Eddie had like bent the steering arm, like, so it was like out,
Way out.
and we're just too dumb at the time. We just put a spare on and just kept driving, and then every 100 k's after that, you do the same thing, rip it. But then we were just too stupid to do anything. We're like, oh, you could just easily just go and get a wheel alignment or something. But we just kept buying. We brought I think we had 3 or 4 different wheels in the back, so we just keep changing the wheels out. Like another tire, because we just go to like a wrecker's yard and we'll just buy like a whole wheel. And they were like, we're like, yeah, it's way better. It's only like $20 or $30 or something, or like $50 or something for like a whole shitty rim and a tire on it. So we just did that. And we just had I think 3 or 4 wheels in the back of the van. And then basically got to the point where the van was pretty rinsed, and I think and me and Win, we had no more. We went and did downhill runs in the van. In this place way out the back of because Win had great ideas. He'd like to go to just like gravel road tracks and just do old school downhill runs. So we're probably I think I'd like to say almost 2 hours out of New Plymouth, and we didn't have any spares in the van at the time, and we are way out of the middle of nowhere doing downhill runs in the van, and we're just loving it. It's just sick as gravel turns, and it was pretty cool. Just drive, because we'd just do laps. So I'd follow the Win in the van, and we're doing drifts in the van, and then we'd swap around and we'd do runs on the bike, and I'd follow him and whatever, and then we were driving out. We'd done our runs after a day, and then there was no service or anything way out where we were, and then we're driving pretty much out of the road, pretty much a couple of 100 meters, and we hit the tar seal, and it's just like, and we're like, oh shit, we don't have a spare. So we literally have to drive. I think we drive an hour. I'm in the back to try and wait the van, so it's not on the front wheel so much, but it's not doing anything. the tire rips off. We're on the rim, and it's just like we're on the road, just that sparks everything. I think we drive for like an hour like that, and we get to like a house, and we're like, oh, we have to go in and try and ring. I think we ring his parents to get another spare wheel or something. I think we leave the van there, and his parents just pick us up. And then we get, I think, a tow truck or something picks it up, or we just no, we just went into this random house, and it was so sketchy. It was just like these hippies and stuff, and one just gets on the phone and rings his mum, and he's like, "Oh, can you come get us?" And yeah, I think she had to drive like an hour and pick us up in a submission, and then we get another wheel, and then we go back out and then get the van and drive it back in, and then at the point we're like, "Oh, this van's pretty much screwed." We're like pretty much trashed the van, and we're just gonna say to what was his name again? Fuck.
Brian.
Brian, yeah, Brian Tyndall.
Big Brian.
Big Brian. We're like, we'll just say it got stolen. I don't think there's not many people that know about this story, eh? And so we're like,
there won't be many that listen to this anyway. It'll be fine.
yeah. No, it doesn't even matter anyway. It's like he knows about it.
It's fine.
So so we pretty much destroyed the van. Like, I think we smashed the window in the front of the van and everything, and we're like, oh, we're just gonna take it way out to the this cliff out of the middle of nowhere. So we take it out there, and then we're doing skids in it, having a ball and whatever, and blah blah blah. And then when we just put like a brick on the accelerator, and we just chuck it into gear, and it just goes off the cliff, and we're like, oh sweet. And then so we just tell Brian that it got stolen, and he was like, yeah, you guys are dreaming. It didn't get stolen. You guys have to pay for it. And we're like, oh, fuck. But literally, it was like the funnest summer ever. And we all had to pay, I think it was like $600 each for this van. So we're like, it was just like the sickest time ever. We had a van, and we just we didn't really need to destroy it because it was mint.
That story is so much better than I thought we were going to get.
I know. It's
so we just thought it was like a great. We're all just like dumb young kids. So
man,
it's like if you're a little poo head like we were, don't just think that you can just get away with it and saying the van's got stolen, because you might as well pay for it, and then you're going to have a van anyway. Because I remember I got a bongo after that, because I was like, oh, these vans are sick, I'm going to get one. So I got one, and then I remember going out to where the van was, because my bongo had like Puer's brown interior, so I went out and got like all the other bits off the van.
You got all the good stuff.
Man, why do we destroy this van? We could have just kept it, and it would have been mean, because it was such a sick van. Like it ran.
Man.
All it needed was like a wheel alignment, and that was about it. We just thought it was ruined because the tires kept ripped off, but we didn't even have a brain to figure out that we just need to get a wheel alignment.
Far out. That's awesome.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
that's a great yarn. I'm stoked on that one.
That's more like an Eddie N win.
Well, I thought there would have to be something that involved both of them anyway, so that's good.
There's like a million other ones of win. Like we rode so many times when we were younger, and obviously racing, or like he started me like riding bikes, obviously, because I was just like a little hermit riding like a shitty bike, and he was like, oh, come to a race, and I was like, oh yeah. It was like a club race in Wanganui, so I raced with him, and then we kind of just grew up together like that. So
it's pretty fucking cool that you guys are still racing World Cups, because man, that was a long time ago when we were racing each other in juniors.
Yeah, well, even you, mate, still racing.
Yeah, but not on the level of you guys.
Oh, mate, you still fucking can rip a turn, and every now and then when you want to.
Should we talk about the heartbreak of you losing the 2005 National Junior Series?
Was that when we lost points and stuff?
No, I think that was 2004.
No, that was 2004.
No, it was the year that me, you, and Cam battled it out, and it came down to the final round.
And did you beat me?
Yeah, gotcha. But then Mountain Bike New Zealand fucked up, and they gave you the overall, and then they had to take it back, and they gave it to me the next weekend.
Yeah, they did some weird things, eh? But that's out of my mind. If I didn't win, then I don't know.
Nah, it's out of the memory.
Yeah.
I
These
don't have
must
enough
be
wins,
nice, eh?
so I cling on to my wins, even if they were nearly 20 years ago.
Well, I just never had any many national titles either. I
No, but
can't
you've won the
remember.
most. Hey, you've won the most national rounds ever. Do you know that?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did some digging and went back through like as far back in time as I could, basically in national results, and you're the all-time national round winner.
There was some controversy with Hendy though, eh?
Yeah,
He
but
reckons
the
he won
results
it,
don't
but
go back into
no,
the
we don't go
dark
back that
ages,
far.
so we
Yeah.
had to exclude
Well,
those.
still, I love. I just because like most of the top guys don't really race many nationals anymore. So I
Nah,
just
Not now, no.
yeah, like even in the weekend there was not like that many guys there. Like
nah,
Eddie that weren't bothered, and I just like if I had my bike, I would have been racing. I just like because this time of year is just fun. It's just like
it's
you're
good
getting back
fun.
into it, and the tracks are always fun. Like we don't, I don't really. It's not the same like just going to do downhill laps for me. I like
Nah,
the challenge of racing, and then it's cool catching up with everyone, and it's just fun, man.
it's always
That's
a
why
good
I love.
time.
That's why I'm still racing because it's just awesome. Like, and we like. There's obviously times where it's a bit shit when you're waiting in the line and stuff, and you only get like 4 runs in or something. But most of them are pretty dialed, like here in
Yeah,
Christchurch, and then the Queenstown ones and stuff like that. And then Nelson's just sick, going to ride there, and you never get to like. When do you ever get to do downhill runs in Nelson? Normally, it's only
Yeah.
I looked at my downhill bike today, and it's still got the wet screens on it from Crankworks Rotorua. I haven't touched it.
yeah, yeah, same as my other one because I bloody lucky I did check it because like everything was seized.
Yeah, it was a pretty wet race.
Yeah, because it's such a wet race. I put it back in the van and I got home and I just put it in the corner and then I was like, maybe I need to sell this thing or do something with it. So I checked over and I was like, holy crap, man.
Yeah, mine's been hanging on the wall, and I haven't actually taken it off. So that's a good reminder that I should do that before I come down this weekend
Yeah,
for
give it
the
a
Christchurch round.
yeah, yeah,
You you tend to keep heaps of your old bikes, eh, Blinky? Like you
yeah.
had a lap here for ages, and
Yeah, I've got pretty much every bike that I've done well on. I've got in my garage, or there's obviously that one I won on. The Yeti is in the bike shed in Wanganui, and
oh, sick.
yeah, there's heaps and there's a couple in bike boxes at my. I think I've got them all here now, but there was some around at families' houses and stuff. And yeah,
That's
it's just
pretty mint because not a lot of people do that. That's pretty cool
No,
history to have.
yeah, it's like I've got my Lapierre that I got third on, and my last Lapierre that I raced on that was pretty sick. Like
that
Jack,
I
last one
raced
was sick.
yeah, it's
I
got like
raced one of those at a club race in Christchurch in
yeah,
like 2014 or something. It was a mint bike.
yeah,
Was it
they're real good.
horses?
Like I'd probably
No, one
jump
of
on that
Blinky's
bike
ones.
and have some
All
fun.
right.
Yeah, they're real good. So it's cool to have. I want to put them up. Like if I had a bigger garage, it'd be cool to lay them out and stuff. But I
If
just don't have room. But
if you were going to pick one of them to race at the 26-inch national champs coming up in Queenstown at Coronet Peak, which one would you dig out to race? Do you reckon?
it'd be the Yeti for sure because that's probably the only 26-inch one I've got.
Yeah, it's true. It probably is the only 26-inch one.
I've got Lapierre ones. The yeah, the first year one was 26.
If you
The
were,
the last year I was on Lapierre is when we went 27.
Mm.
Or no, it was 2 years. Where I was 2 years with 27
yeah,
because we were one of the first teams to ever run it.
what would be your 26? Not doesn't have to be one you've raced, but what would be your 26-inch dream bike? We're big fans of the
E-
gone era.
Easy DHR, the Turner, get that
Yeah,
back. Fuck the square frame one. Get
those
me.
square frame ones were sick.
I wish I never sold my one that I won on. Brooke brought it after me, Brooke McDonald. So
It's probably in
whoever,
a scrap heap these days.
yeah, some Hawke's Bay Cruiser
It would have
probably.
cracked so many times.
Yeah, one of those would be sick to ride again, and or the Iron Horse man because that
That's pretty cool.
you've
Yeah,
got one built up, the Iron Horse.
yeah. I'm pretty tempted to bring it to Queenstown. It's
Oh, you have to,
getting
don't
it's
you?
the temptation's getting harder to resist at the moment.
You wouldn't want to ruin it though, eh?
No, that's the thing. It's mint at the moment. I don't want to put it on dirt.
No.
No, that's the same as me. Like if I had to ride my Yeti again, I would just be like, oh. And the thing is, like I rode that thing to death. Like it was like the first year they made like it was like a slippery coating on the fork.
Yeah, the
Oh,
silvery
yeah.
shit, hey? Yeah.
Silvery
I
shit, and
remember those.
it's just peeled off. So the seals would just be like pissing out oil everywhere anyway. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to ride it probably, and then I'll just be scared, like, because it's all set up as how I raced it when I won on.
Mm.
It's all the same tyres and everything, and the wheels and everything. So
Oh, you
the only
couldn't
thing it
ride it.
doesn't have is the shock, because Jared Graves stole it from me, the bastard. And I was
Motherfucker.
always keen to get it back because it was like the first year they prototyped like a one that you could adjust the high and low
Oh,
speed on.
yeah.
Oh, real.
Yeah,
Before
the
that,
early like DHX or whatever,
it was
not
just like the
DHX.
rebound. You only had rebound before. It was
Yeah.
and compression. Oh no, it was rebound and a bottom out control.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that blue thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
remember
just
that.
twist that and it did nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, yeah, fuck. It'd be cool. I'd probably rather just like find an old frame and like build one up because I've got so many. I think I've still got quite a few 26-inch wheels lying around somewhere. I don't know why.
Jesus, you're more of a
Oh,
hoarder than
man.
I am if you've
Yeah.
got 26-inch wheels around.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, because I've got some of my frames like that I've kept from LaPierre. They just got wheels there and other
Oh, yeah.
wheels, and I'm just like, oh, I'll
Yeah.
probably build them up when I put them up in display one
Yeah.
year.
One day.
And I'm probably never going to find all the bits and pieces from them, but the frames look pretty sick, so I'll probably just put frames up. It's the
Yeah.
same as like Loic. He has like all his bikes. When you go to his grandparents' house, they're all in his like in the cellar. They have a big house, so it's
Yeah.
cool to see all the bikes. And if you can like, well, Jack, my old mechanic, he was the same. I want to actually get some of my bikes back from him because he's got all my world champ ones that he custom
Oh,
made.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Those are always sick.
He's got all the sick ones from LaPierre days. So I'm like, hey Jack, you've got all these sick ones probably from Loic now that have won heaps of.
Yeah. You'll
Yes,
get your ones back.
give me my bikes back. But I think he likes them because it was like the start, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my one regret is the intense prototype that my old mechanic I think still has. I've been trying to get it back for years, but he won't let go of it.
It's just
It
cool
was
to
a
have
sick
that
bike.
stuff because it's like you can make money quick and easy at the time, but then like I want to have this shit when my grandchildren are around, and like that's what I used to
Yeah.
race kids.
It was
And
all about paying off my credit card back in those days, so they had to go.
yeah,
Sweet. Well, I reckon that's been a pretty good story time with Sam Blenkinsop. I probably could have just listened to that van story and I would have been, quite amused.
Yeah,
But
that's enough.
that's
yeah.
that was a pretty good.
There's so many bits in that story too that are a bit
Probably shouldn't
PG.
get told.
Fuck, yeah,
No.
God, the bits of like some of the things that win and they were to do. I think no, that wasn't the year. That was another year. So that was all right. It was another year was more crazy when we lost points because we were too crazy. But that
Oh yeah,
was because we had influences from older generations.
yeah.
Like
Couple of bad influences that year.
yeah, they did when you got like older racers that you kind of look up to or that are telling you what to do. You're like, oh yeah, this is
There
good.
was a fair few bad influences around in our younger days.
Yeah, the racing circuit when we were younger was pretty ruthless.
It was pretty wild.
It was
It's a
like
lot
racing
different
the
now.
day and then big parties and everyone just travelled around as a big circus and
Well, they ended up.
ruined the country pretty much.
They changed the
Yeah,
days of them, eh?
Yeah,
that's why they stopped racing downhill on Saturday and they moved them to Sunday for national rounds because we were just making too much of a mess every Saturday night.
yeah, and ruining towns and because of cars.
They'd be real annoyed. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh man, we could spend hours going back through those stories. Maybe we'll have to have like a national series story time, a round table one day.
round table, get a few people in there and just release the yarns.
Yeah, I think like the statute of limitations is probably passed on most of this stuff, so it'd be fine for it to be out in the public now.
Yeah, we're all old enough. We got children. We've gone past that. It's just story time.
Probably stuff that you don't want your children to hear, though. Hopefully, they never find this.
Oh, it's all good. Still part of life, man.
Yeah.
they'll probably go through the same things, you know. Maybe, hopefully, not as bad as what we did, but you got to. It's all learning.
You live and you learn, eh?
Yeah, it was all part of the discovery of life.
It's the only way to do it.
Yeah,
All right.
those are the things you remember for life.
Oh, that's it. It's memories, isn't it? It's like, maybe I didn't make it where I wanted to in racing, but holy shit, it wouldn't change anything because the memories from it are so good.
Yeah, like that story I told you. That was, oh god, I'd like to say over 20 years ago.
It was probably
Yeah.
like
Close to
19
it.
or 20 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it must have been earlier because I've been professional now for 19, coming on 20 years. So
It can't have been. I'm just trying to look at. It can't have been.
because
Nah, it had to be about 2005 or something.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I was on a
Maybe
team yet.
six.
Maybe I
But
was. Could have been earlier. Might have been
yeah,
years ago. Nah.
I just I just remember. I remember the first time I saw you in Rotorua in like 2002, maybe. I reckon it had to be at the national round, and you were such a midget and riding a giant DH comp. I think it was comp or a team that was like 2 sizes too big for
It
you.
was a comp. Yeah, comp.
No, but the first time I met
Team.
you were on the
Comp parts.
specialized FSR.
Oh, you were on a hardtail that year, I think, weren't you?
Hardtail with
On the race line.
the
With
That's
the
race
right.
heat tube welded back on.
and the
It was,
RST upside down, like looked like monster tees on it. It was
yeah.
just so big. And I remember every jump I just had to pull up so hard because the fork was so heavy. So I was just like full pencil. But it was kind of good because it was like I was on a hardtail, so I just leaned real forward, and the back end was just tacking out everywhere. And then you and Win was on the full factory Lahar team then,
That's right.
and then you're on the 24-inch back end.
Nah, I think I was the early adopter of mullet. I had a 24 on the rear and a 26 on the front.
Yeah. So 24 on the rear. Eh?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Shit. What a time.
I wonder what that would ride like now, like the 24-inch back end. Pretty crazy.
Oh, it'd be horrific.
I could be rank.
It's,
So bad.
'cause you
20
sit on-
riding 27.5 is bad enough now.
it's like having, and what, do you have the Gazalotti on the back there?
Probably, or an Onza or something shit like that.
But that was
Okay.
so big, the tyre would probably be almost 26-inch.
Yeah. It's like a fat bike.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
man.
when you start a date, like that's the beginnings. Like kids these days are pretty lucky, eh?
Oh, man. They just like, we had no idea back in those days. You just got whatever you could find and
I
just
remember
ran
the
shit.
first national I went to with my dad. It was in Hawke's Bay. I think you and Win were definitely there because you guys won, and I didn't even finish the race. I was on my hardtail. I had my skate park tires on that were like just so worn out. My tires were just like bald, and it was the muddiest race ever. I couldn't even ride. I did practice. I don't even think my practice was dry, and it was like how nationals that just like rain overnight, and then
Yeah.
it was just like impossible. I did like 2 practice runs. I was like just dying everywhere, and I was like, Dad, I don't even know if I can finish. He was like, Nah, boy, you'll be right. Get in there. Don't be a pussy or something.
Thanks, mate.
I go and race, and I don't. I think my dad thinks I'm dead because I just don't even get down to the bottom of the track. I just watch all the elites and everything, everyone come down, and I was at the top when Justin Leoff, like I was on the track where he hit the the stump and snaps his frame in half, like on his giant. It was like
Oh,
years ago, and he was
yeah.
on like the Toyota bloody
Yeah. He had his like
Like-
giant deal. Yeah.
yeah, a full factory, full fancy hair, blonde hair, and
Yeah. He had the frosted tips.
yeah, it was Justin Bieber at the time. He was the champ. And I just remember like looking at him, and I was like, man, he's the man. I want to be like him.
He
one
was.
day. Yeah, and I couldn't even get down the track. I just like crashed every turn, and I just sat on the side of the track and cried pretty much, and just watched everyone come down.
I think we've all been there though.
And the dad was like, fuck, waste of time coming to this race, buddy. You didn't even finish the race, boy, you bloody pussy, or something like that. I was
Probably
like,
thinking like, oh, this kid's never gonna fucking make it in this.
nah, it's a waste of time, bloody, going to these races. And then he was like, oh, it was probably because we had shit tyres. And then after that, I think we went to that Rotorua National Champs or whatever. And then I did all right. I think. Did I beat you?
I think Win got first. I think you were second and I was third.
Yeah, because there's like a podium of us and we're just all hermits.
Yeah, little nuggets.
So I beat you on the hardtail, mate. Fuck, it's easy.
Nah, that year, not on the hardtail. That was the next year, I think, when you were on the Giant.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I think, I don't know, maybe. We have to look
I'm
back.
not admitting to you beating me on a hardtail. Nah, it's not happening.
Yeah, I don't
It
know.
probably did happen though.
Yes. That was when the track was quite gnarly. It had that rock straight of just like marbly rock things.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it's probably the same track we ride now, pretty much, but just different jumps and that and whatever.
It pretty much goes to the exact same place.
Yeah, and it had felt like 100-footer at the bottom, eh? You're just like,
Yeah.
whoa! But it was just, now it's so easy.
Same
was
jump that's kind of always been, eh?
Yeah,
huge
but
back. It was huge back then.
The trees were huge, like
Yeah.
funny how like in our career we've seen so many tracks. Like I think Nelson now I've seen like 3 cycles of that place getting cut down and
Oh,
back.
Yeah.
It's like Kaka. We started like probably the first couple of years we raced it. Well, the first year we've built it, they'd just planted seedlings, and now it's like just about ready for harvest. And I'm like, Jesus Christ,
That's nuts, eh?
I've seen that thing go from seedlings to full size pine trees, and I've still been there racing it.
I remember peeling off the track near the bottom when it was like fresh and just going to the next switchback because there's nothing.
You just keep riding.
Yeah.
It's mad, eh?
Nothing was going to stop you.
We're old goats, man, but we're still doing it.
Yeah, still fun. Still got a national round coming up this weekend, so why not?
Yeah, keep it going.
Yeah,
What's
absolutely.
the plan this year, Blinky? Is it World Cups? Is it Crankworks?
Oh yeah, I haven't really told you the story yet, eh, guys?
Nah, we missed
What's
that
the
one
itinerary?
actually.
Yeah, we just went everywhere else old school and just told you
That's
what riding.
That's the best part though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one even knows. Oh, you even racing this year? Yeah. No, yeah. So I'm doing full World Cup circuit, all the crankworks, and basically just dip my toes in anything like EWS if I can fit them in, but probably not, and do some e-bike stuff maybe if I can. Yeah. So basically, the plan is just a full World Cup and yeah, the crankwork stuff, and yeah, just do projects and just try and do as much as I can, really.
Is the family coming over again this year?
Nah, my wife is keen to start her like working properly and getting her life sorted. She knows that I probably can't do this forever, so she needs to maybe start a career that we can live on, maybe. But I feel like where I'm going now with this whole team thing, it could work out. But then I don't want to be away from my family. It's gonna
gets pretty hard, doesn't it? Especially with 2 kids at home.
Yeah, like I'll be backwards and forwards a lot this year, so it's gonna be hard traveling. But there's a few gaps in the circuit, so it will work. But
at least it's a bit of a shorter season too.
Yeah, yes and no, but yeah, it's gonna probably the longest away from them will be like a month, so it's gonna suck. But yeah, from a change from obviously last season we were traveling together and it was awesome having the family there. It made racing so much fun.
Yeah,
the same sort of thing like I was kind of hoping this year, but it's hard. And then it's good having the family there for sure, but it's hard on obviously Alicia, my wife, because she's bloody has to deal with all the kids and driving and everything. So yeah, she'll be stoked probably not to come, but obviously she'll hate me not being here.
Every night when she's trying to put them to bed, she's gonna be like, "Fucking Sam."
Yeah, but luckily we got family that's gonna help out. My dad, and other family, because obviously we don't live in the same town as family, so but it's the hard part. But yeah, it's all part of me, like the memories, that last year traveling all those hard times, we're going to remember for the rest of our life. Like Indy will remember most of it because she was old enough at the time, and we even know we might do it again, next year. But this year we'll just see what happens.
Yeah. How much longer do you reckon you've got in you?
Oh, I feel like I'm just going to keep going until I die. No. So until I just feel like I'm worn out and just don't want to race anymore.
But do you feel like you're still like you don't feel like you've gone down a backside of, like a peak or anything. Because, like, I mean, for me, I'm like, I feel like I'm in better shape now than I've ever been. And it's like, I don't think age is really that big of a thing.
Nah, it's just like the younger generation that pushes you more,
Yeah.
and the bikes are getting better. You're learning more. You got things coming. Like that's why I like this part of it, because I'm like testing new things all the time. Starting this new bike, riding this new bike. It's just so exciting. It's like I'm still a kid and like getting my new bike coming,
Yeah.
and you just want to. I can't wait to ride it. I just like that part of it, and then having the e-bikes, so you can do so much riding. And then now my kids are in, like my daughter's starting to bike, and it's just all things to do, and then try and help the younger generation as much as I can. It's just so much to do, and then it's kind of cool what we can do now with the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
And the new bike will be pretty exciting too, just to like get your teeth into it and work it out and see how fast you can make it.
Oh man, I'm pretty stoked, eh? And
Looks like a cool platform to develop as well. Like
yeah,
as you said earlier on, like work out how you like it set up and change things, and it looks like it's kind of set up to be able to do that. So it's real
yeah,
cool.
yeah. I like how it's like an in between, not a high pivot, but
Mm.
it's kind of is, but then doesn't ride like a high pivot. So that's what I didn't really. It's kind of a high pivot ride's quite strange if you've never ridden one.
Yeah. They have their moments where they're real good, and then some
Yeah,
stuff they're really
the lines
strange
are
on.
pretty good, but they don't turn real great.
Yeah.
And then that's what I've struggled with over the years. So I was like, yeah, I'm pretty stoked with this whole new platform. It's going to be pretty cool, something different. And then obviously Santa Cruz, or the VPP, is a pretty good system, and this is a VHP, so pretty close but different. So it's going to be
Yeah.
pretty cool.
No, it looks good.
Yeah, so
Well,
watch the space, and hopefully get some podiums this year, and get
yeah.
back to where I wanted to be in the World Cup. Where I felt like a couple of times last year I felt pretty good, but then just like
Yeah.
obviously
Well, like you had an eighth at Mont Saint Anne last year, so it's like it's not like you can't still do it.
yeah, I felt, and then even then I had a flat tire halfway down, so I was riding a
Oh,
flat.
fuck.
So lucky for Kushkor, saved me, but it wasn't
That's mint.
like it was soft. I just couldn't rip turns.
Yeah.
It was dead flat in the last rock run, but you can still ride pretty far, not fast, but like decent
Yeah.
scoring. But it was like, yeah, I was just like feeling like, when is this going to rip off at any moment? So yeah, just hit the rim at the top, like in the top part, and then yeah, just nursed it. But
Yeah.
felt like I was still pushing. I was like, what else can I do? And you seen at that race in Mont Saint Anne, like I think like most of the field flatted, like quite a lot of the top guys. So you could say like, oh, maybe I got that result because of that, but there was other
No.
guys that were just around me, the same sort of situation,
Yeah, same deal.
Same deal. So.
History's written by the results books. No one remembers
Yeah,
that.
no one cares. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, but yeah, it's all part of it. It's all racing, and then yeah, I feel like I want to do some good results this year and just have fun. That's all.
Yeah.
If it's not fun, then I don't do it. And I like the training and learning new things, like with training, and there's just so much around it. And then learning obviously new parts on new bikes, working with new partners, and obviously the suspension and whatever is going to happen. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
What
I'm
about
looking
your
forward to following it.
other venture, Blenkinsop?
Yeah. So if you guys are keen, get some Blenkinsop on your feet. Those things make your riding that next level.
Are they better for flat pedals or clips?
I've never run them with. Oh, actually, I go hunting in them.
They're all rounders.
They're all rounders, man. It's the everyday sock for me.
Where can our listeners get some Blenkinsop from?
Basically, just go to Instagram and go to the Blenkinsop, and then it links you to the homepage there.
All right, search up Blenkinsop on Instagram and go buy some and help fund Sam's 2023 season.
Yeah, they're doing pretty well. They're going out the door. We just need to get international sales going, and then they'll be frothing. But I think everyone in New Zealand's got a pair now.
Maybe we need to make some merch, Red Dog, and we could make some money off this podcast.
Unlikely.
Pod socks.
Yeah, it's all about it. Just a couple of hats or whatever. So they might do some t-shirts just for like fans,
Yeah.
And I got sick. I got to the point where I was just like sick of crappy socks. Like I was holding on to like some RockShox socks that were like good for racing, and then I just held them. And then I was like, I want some like this, so I just made some the same, and they're just like it's not like it's just good like a sock, and I raced in them all year, and they last pretty well, and they're just a
You
cheap. It's not like crazy expensive, and it's just got a label on it. It's like
you just developed a sock that you wanted. You went out and tested,
yeah,
got the right product.
done the job, and then if you guys need socks, everyone needs socks. You can't ride shoes without socks. Those you're gonna get blisters. So
Yeah, and you'll look like a dork too.
yeah, and get some Blenkinsop on your toes, and you'll be happy. There's been good feedback.
Got any plans for like an ankle sock for the triathletes, or just sticking with the high top?
Rough. No, rough. No one wants an ankle sock.
No, you got to stick with that right length.
Yeah.
That's a real.
You feel naked. I'd see maybe KB, you'd rock an ankle sock, eh?
Maybe if I decide to be a triathlete.
You used to race in the ankle socks back in the day.
A long time ago.
Even Sam Hill did though. So
yeah.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah. It's horrific.
We've all got times in our life that we want to forget about.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But Stevie Smith used to run it, and he's the man. So
he did.
That is
true.
Yeah.
I vividly remember him running ankle socks at World Champs in Petermaritzburg.
Yeah.
Didn't go well.
We blamed his crash in the first turn on the ankle socks, actually.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, get some socks on your feet, and help the cause.
Yeah, good shout. Hopefully we get some listeners buying them from you then.
Yeah.
Would I be a medium or a large sock here, Blinky?
What size are you?
A 10.
You'll be a large. So 10 normally fits like. Alicia even runs a large, and she's like a girl. So, but it normally fits like a 9 to a 12, or a 10. I'd say a 10 to 12, but then a medium's like I don't know, 7 or up to 10 or whatever. So it's like So I'm 11 and I run a large, and it's like spot on for me. So 10's pretty good for a large. But I'll be at all the national rounds, so come see me if you need some socks. The van will be stocked with them. So
buy them straight out of the van.
Yeah, cash
out the back of the van.
Cash only.
Yeah.
Don't want the IRD to find out about it.
No, we pay their taxes, mate.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this thing up. We've been at it for a while now, and it's pretty much bedtime, I'd say. So thanks for joining us and coming for a trip down memory lane. That was that was bloody good fun. I'm stoked with this.
Yeah, we could end up talking for days. Just stories.
I reckon we'll do a part 2 at some point. We'll talk We'll just do some national series stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a Joe Rogan link podcast, 3 hours, and
yeah.
Oh, that's good.
It's true. Oh, we just got an order, and that must have been Rennie.
Yeah, it was me, mate.
Yeah.
Oh man, look at him.
Stoked. You didn't even. I would have helped you out, mate.
I go through socks so fast. I can't buy them quick enough.
Yeah,
he's got a.
The price is it's competitive. It's a competitive sock game.
Yeah. Well, these ones last. They're pretty good, and then you give some feedback to the listeners. And
how much will it cost us to get an OTB logo on your OTB podcast logo on your jersey?
Helmet visor.
Oh, a sticker deal on the helmet.
Yeah, just cash.
All right. I'm good. We've got some stickers for national champs, I believe. So we'll bring a sticker and some cash, and we'll get a visor. We'll get a helmet sticker on the visor.
If you're paying, you get on the helmet.
All right. All right.
He hasn't specified how much. So.
No, but I can bring some cash. I don't know if it'll be a lot.
Bring cash.
Well, you're already paying me anyway, KB.
Yeah.
I'm on the payroll for KB. I did his hedges the other day.
Yeah.
Oh.
And paid him cash.
Yeah. It's got to that point in my career. I have to do people's hedges to make cash.
I'm just helping supporters racing.
Oh, it's just it's nice and find a local contractor though, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Racing for my dinner, you could say that, eh?
I think someone's already taken that one.
Yeah, we know.
Oh shit!
I'm doing hedges to feed my children.
Did you do a good job? Was it a good job?
Yeah, it looked tidy. I stopped in and saw it last week. It looked good.
Oh,
I was very happy.
Quick job. I had Blake in the car, just right next to me, obviously. But he was asleep, so I was trying to whack it out before he woke up because he likes to sleep in the car.
Yeah, fair enough. You did well. We were happy.
Open to any listeners, so he was safe.
That's fine.
Hey, the window cracked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The door was open. The door was open. He had a good breeze. It was a hot day, so he was loving it.
Yeah.
And then I was just whacking out the hedge.
As long as you weren't whacking out in the hedge.
No. So we did it. All right, let's do this thing. All right, this is going to keep going, guys.
Yeah, we better cut it off. Yeah, thanks again, and we'll see. Well, you listeners can listen to us jumble through the end of a podcast again sometime soon.
What's up?
I come from the land of down under. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. What was that? I can't hear you. I let it be like John Lennon, the anti-serum that you don't get for poisonous venom. Read the label carefully, I'm only here for the show. I love hip-hop too much to let you feed my ego. In the key of F-U-C-K, Y-O-U. I mean, why do I owe you if you're not helping me through? I mean, why do I owe you if you're obstructing my view? Success is not my castle, just a house that's brand new. You see, I irrigate the culture, give it shape like a sculpture. Still complicated, rock like I'm supposed to. B-L-I-T-Z like my DJ. Rock to the rhythm like you rock to what he plays.